started.
screen. Okay, welcome everyone. So today, welcome. Well, first of all, welcome. Welcome to the Data to Production. So we run the podcast, me, Ashit, and Shashant, on Data to Production, where basically we try and help people um, you know, who wants to get into data science, but basically teaching them, what is standard industry level, what does industry level data scientists do, what kind of skills they need, what kind of stuff they should be learning, um, also what kind of projects they should be focusing on outside boot camps, for your personal projects, tools that you got to learn so that you can upskill yourself, because these days the field is very competitive, so you have to upskill yourself. So this week we decided we're not going to do any podcasts. So we run podcasts, we run data science training. We're going to be starting machine learning tutorial series on YouTube soon, where people can join. We'll go through. We'll pick a book, and then we'll go through the book together, and then we'll teach you, answer any questions you might have. For today, we decided we're gonna do resume review sessions, because we get a lot of messages from people asking to review their resume. So we thought, okay, let's take this opportunity and review people's resume for free, and we can give you feedback. Obviously, it won't be very detailed feedback because we have a lot of resumes to go through, but also we haven't had a chance to look at them for a long time. So this is the feedback, something that will help make your resume better. So yeah, let's get started. So people who have joined,
Yes.
yeah. So just for people who have joined, if you have sent your resume already, could you leave your name in the chat? Because we have decided, okay, we're gonna review resumes of people who are live. So if you can leave your name in the chat box here, then I can go ahead and pull out your resume if I have it, and then we can review, or we'll pick some sample resumes.
So until we get our first message, we can maybe start with a resume.
Yeah, so we're gonna get started with a couple of resumes that we have, right? So let me start with that. So let me start with this resume here, right? Okay, so with this resume, let's point out a few things, and then again, people, you can comment in the chat box as well if you see that. Okay, what is this?
We got someone comment.
Okay, do we have a name? I sent my resume this afternoon. Okay, let me try and find your resume. I think this is the one.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Let's look at this resume. And before we start, physics. That's good, because I have a background in physics. Okay, so before we start, let me show people, if you don't know, where can you create resumes? It's because I see some people, they create in Word, and then they have to do formatting and all of these things. There are a lot of resume builders out there. One of them, which I particularly been using since a few years now, is called flowcv.io. So you can look for this, flowcv.io. It lets you create free resume for free, and cover letter and everything. Really good. You can use the templates that they have available, and you can build pretty resumes like this one, for instance. So yeah, for people who don't know, flowcv.io. Okay, let's look at this resume. So okay.
There's also one very good site, Novo Resume, that allows you to build like one-page resume.
Novo resume.
Uh,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, that's good. So no go resume,
Novo, Novo.
NOVO. Okay, cool. So we have another one, Novo resume. So this one here, I'm guessing the first one.
yeah. Yes.
Okay, so we have another website. So for people, I think you guys can put in the chat box for people if they want to take a note of this. But okay, we're gonna go through this resume together.
So actually,
So,
I created my first resume on Word, MS Word, and after that I created on LaTeX, and now my current resume is on Canva.
interesting. That's cool. Okay, so we're gonna look at this person's resume here, right?
Yeah.
So he's a data analyst. That is good. So you have your email. That's good. Your cell phone number. Um, and yeah, it's good to have the full LinkedIn name because sometimes what happens is if you have, clickable links, let's say you only had this and not the whole link, sometimes the clickable link break, right? And sometimes if people are not, viewing your resume on a laptop or something, they won't be able to, click. So in that case, you basically they don't have access to your resume, right? So this situation that happened with me when I was starting out, I used to try and make resume really pretty with pictures and so on and so forth. But then I realized, no one really cares about prettiness in the resume, right? What people care about is the content and the information that you provide, how much you're trying to sell yourself, right? And also, having the whole link, it's better in case the link breaks or something, right? At least people can, copy this and then look for your name on LinkedIn, Google it, right? And so on. Same with GitHub. It's good to have this because, on GitHub, there are millions of profiles and, people have to scroll through every single one of them. But having this entire name, really good. So we got his GitHub profile. Um, to all repositories. That's good. So I'm guessing lots of projects. Now, section wise, always recommend to have um, profile at the top, right? And then skills as a second section here. And then professional experience. Oh, let me shut down my alarm. Professional experience as the third section. And then education and then projects. Um, so that's the flow that I look at. Now, as per there, what do you guys think about the flow?
So, so for me, I keep education as the last thing because for me that isn't really relevant because I did civil engineering. I keep the projects on the top because that's the first thing I want the recruiter to pay attention to. And in the middle somewhere, I keep the skills and everything. Uh, and also I also keep a section for hobbies and interests, uh, just to show the human side of me. Yeah, that's my preference.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Shashank, your preference? Or what do you think it works? I mean, not like preference wise, but something that works in industry.
So I think like this is fine. Like firstly professional experience and then moving towards project because like with professional experience you have to show the projects which you have done in your like in your company. But the like
Yeah.
by personal project should be like after the personal experience or professional experience.
Hmm. Uh,
Yeah, and
okay.
also some
So yeah.
people
Uh-huh.
who really want to highlight their education, like they went to some good college, they sometimes keep it on the top. Uh, but yeah, if it is something that you want to be paid attention to, then yeah, it makes sense.
Mhm. So I mean, so overall, so this is, I think, what we think should be, right? So if you have relevant experience, Then
Yeah.
education, it's least important. No one really cares about education, right? If you have experience in industry working, okay. And the most important thing is to have, to show what are the skills you have, right? So if I'm looking at this profile, I have this person information. What does he do? Well, he's a skilled data scientist with a background in fintech. That's good. Able to effectively work with large volumes of data to provide valuable business insights. This is a key, right? So this is really good.
Yeah.
Driven and dedicated to the field of data science, adept at utilizing data collection, analysis, and modeling techniques to optimize business performance. That's good. And you can also probably expand this and then mention, after modeling technique, also, do you, connect with stakeholder? How do you work with stakeholders? Or do you have to communicate with stakeholders at the end of the day after you've done your analysis and modeling technique and so on, right? So a little line of that showing that stakeholder keyword would be really important. Right? So
Also,
that's a good thing.
it is a good
Uh,
idea to
mhm.
bold some words that you want to attract.
Yeah, yeah. So just to catch, the readers' attention, right? So a
Yeah.
few of the important keywords like valuable business insights, some of the optimized business performance, right? Fintech, say you're working in fintech, and so on. So you can highlight some of the keywords, right? And then as a next um, section, output skills, because then skills would be important before I scan through the entire resume, right? Because I want to look at skills, because I don't want to spend a lot of time reading through the resume and then figure out at the end of the day that hey, this person doesn't have skills that I need, right? So skills section would be better here, right? So let's look at the skills section. So skills, so few things you can change instead of doing it this way. So you can create, many sections. So one section would be, programming and tools. So under that you can put, so that would be your hard skills, right? So under that you can put Python, you can put, don't just put SQL. If you know, because thing is what happens is when you go for interview, sometimes they'll ask you questions based on PostgreSQL or MySQL and so on, right? And there's a little bit syntax difference and so on and so forth, right? But if you know both the tools you have been using, MySQL, PostgreSQL, and so on, then this is good. Otherwise, I would say specify a specific tools, either MySQL or PostgreSQL. Now for this one, you can, instead of Git, the better way of saying this is version control system, right? So the version control system shows that you use GitHub and Git and so on, right? So version control system is
But
much better.
sometimes,
I
Where
think,
like, yeah,
yeah,
oh,
sometimes
mhm.
they matches the word similarity.
right,
So
yeah,
it's
Oh,
likely
okay.
to find that Git is much more similar to GitLab or GitHub
right,
compared to other like version control system. And if you like the first round of screening is done by
HR,
HRs mostly.
yeah,
Though, so
Oh,
HRs
okay.
don't have much idea about what is Git, what is a version control system, and what is Git, and
Mhm.
some. So most of the things happen like this. So that's why like the more familiar words are like more important, and it is better if you are changing it specific to the JD. Like let's say if JD is
hmm.
asking for MySQL, go for the MySQL. If they are asking for SQL, go for SQL. That will increase the chance of mm, passing the screening test.
Yeah, make your resume basically, modify your resume as you apply for different companies. That's what he's trying to say, right? And okay, so keep those. So again, we are giving different reviews because so Sushant and Ashad, they are giving you reviews based on what's accepted over there in India by companies. I'm giving reviews based on how I see things here. Um, so yeah, so wherever you're based, you can decide what is it
Yeah.
that you want to use, because I don't know the market there. So
No.
okay.
And yeah, one more thing is like if you go for the like some companies which apply through the portals, let's say you are applying on Microsoft. Firstly, you have to apply the on you have to submit the resume and then you have to fill the forms. If these words are there, they will already go into the different sections. So that will be also useful. So most of the companies
Okay.
now moving from like manually screening the resume towards
Yeah.
using a tools that helps like whether this user is uh,
Mhm.
a good candidate for us or not.
Yeah. Okay. R is good. Now, libraries, this sometimes is good to have, but it's not really needed. Just saying, Python, you can put instead of that, you can also put, machine learning libraries and deep learning libraries where you can highlight scikit-learn. And for deep learning libraries, you can highlight TensorFlow, Keras, if you know any of those, right? So for here, you can highlight like under ML, and then you can put like scikit-learn and SciPy, and then you can have a deep learning section where you can put TensorFlow and so on.
So the
And
way
then
that
for this one, Tableau.
the way that
Mhm.
I prefer is, so like, have a single line for all the programming languages. So Python, R, SQL, and have another line
Yeah.
for the libraries. So scikit-learn, TensorFlow, etc. And if something is remaining, you can have a third line with others, or maybe other tools, something like that.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I think I have. I cannot log in here, but okay, never mind. And then I would say I can see that. Okay, so you only have these things. Like I would say, learn couple more cloud um, platform tools as well, like either AWS or GCP or Microsoft Azure. That will boost your resume a lot. Like because these days, people know Python, people know SQL, people know, R and so on, right? Tableau as well. Um, so just to show that you have, additional skill sets, I would say, learn either of those cloud platforms, and then you can add that here. That's another thing you could do. So that's good. Now, education, I'm not going to highlight, like go over it, right? Because this is good enough. So you don't really need to do anything. Courses, this is good. So you put machine learning specialization where you have taken Coursera. That's good. Google Analytics professional certificate. This is good. So I think this section is good enough as well. And it is where it is supposed to be. So you can
Hmm.
have courses and education at the bottom. Skills, yeah, I would say move it here. Then comes the professional experience, right? So professional experience
So first of all, I
now
can see
in
a typo in analyst,
Mhm.
right? So this really
Yeah,
turns my mood off. Uh, this shouldn't happen. Uh, there should be no typos in your
yeah,
resume.
typo, take a note of that. Now, another question I have for you guys, how relevant is it to show the location there? Does it, do people care?
Yeah, it is important because like it shows like whether you have to relocate for your job or you are currently let's say I have an opening in for a Delhi office, so it will I will prefer you compared to any other place, any other guy who's living in Bangalore. So that's shows like you are more like you choose this place because you are already here.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like everything
Okay.
else being the same, if everything else is the same, the company will prefer someone who is in the same location.
And
Mhm.
sometimes you have to give relocation bonus also. So if like
Yeah.
financial if you check it like for the company financial perspective, it is also like for the Delhi people you don't have to give the relocation bonus.
Okay. But does that so having this, let's say someone is happy to move anywhere in India. Yeah, let's take an ideal example, right? Let's say someone is willing to move anywhere in India. Does this, because they have put their location, is this isn't is going to be biased as to for like companies look for local candidates
So I think it
before they
So
has to
go to other
be
states, right?
the resume has to be tailored for different companies. So if you are applying to a company who is likely to hire you for a different location, then don't mention it. Uh, Yeah.
Yeah,
And one more thing, like this whole process is like time taken. Like when you get hired, you have to serve notice period and all this. So HR don't want to you to like skip at the last moment and you just say no to them. So for that reason, they prefer the people who are from their
yeah,
base location and they are more likely to join. So
yeah,
these things they take care.
exactly. That's good. Yeah. Yeah, that's the issue that, I used to run into here. People prefer the local candidates before they go on to other province. And then what
Yeah.
happens is, in, let's say, wherever you're living, whatever state you're living, let's say there are not many data science jobs, and competition is high because there's so many people. Then, having this location sort of constrains you that, okay, you are here, right? So the company's not going to come to you or even interview you, right? So if you're willing to move anywhere, the way that I used to do it was I would just not put, where I am. And because, in the past, I even had arguments with, managers at the companies where I would be like, you know what, you're rejecting before even asking me if I'm willing to relocate. Just because I'm located somewhere else, you're rejecting me, right? You could have
Mm.
at least asked if, uh, if you're willing to relocate, then sure, we can consider your application, right? Or at least interview you and so on and so forth, right? So that's a key. That's the reason why I asked you guys if, this is relevant. So again, depending on whether you're willing to relocate and so on and so forth, you can decide to put this. Okay. And yeah, don't forget to change this. So let's look at some of the things you have done. So collaborated with various internal and external teams on the development of various data science projects. Now, on the various data science project, that's not good because then, when you come to interview, I'm going to ask you questions on deep learning. I'm going to ask you questions on recommendation systems, right? So I'm going to ask you a lot of different sort of questions. So here, like, be uh, discrete on, what kind of data science projects, right? You don't have to go in detail. Like, let's say if you're done time series, then you can say, collaborated with various internal external teams on development of, time series project for X and X and X, right? And how that improved, companies, whatever they were trying to achieve the target, right? How did you help them achieve the target in, in a given time? um, if it was, you were saving time, let's say the company was doing forecasting manually, how much time did you save by, utilizing data science, right? And how much money were you able to save to the company? So some numbers really helps, right? Um, so do you guys have anything to add for this specific point?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So like
Yeah, numbers are really important, and also some words which are bold, and specific keywords that can help the interviewer gauge your experience and skills.
Uh-huh.
yeah, the metrics are important, but if you are in place of technical metrics, if you have having business metrics, that is much more important. Like you can say that like I have worked in that project and that project impacted these things. So
Also,
I think that's
Yeah.
important.
the star methodology, where you uh, write in 4 steps. So basically, STAR: situation, task, approach, and result. You mention these things specifically. That really is a good way to write it. Write about any project.
Uh-huh. And then, yeah, that's good. So that's a good point on that. Now here again, so use an array of tools. Again, not to really, I mean, that's not really going to help. Instead, what you can do
This
is
has been
here you can
already
have
covered in
like
the
a,
skills section, right?
yeah, exactly. Exactly, right? So this is not really going to help, right? So what you can do instead is, so this is how I usually do it. So what I do is I create skills here in italic, right? Then semicolon, and then I just mention the things that I've used, right? Let's say I've done machine learning. I mentioned machine learning, deep learning. Then I would be like CI/CD DevOps, etc. So that would be a good option instead. Um, I think LinkedIn has that feature. Let me see if you have added it to yours. No. So you can have a skill feature here. Yeah, I need to log in from this, so I'll leave it there. Query databases to achieve. I mean, you have mentioned SQL already here. So again, they're just repeating the same thing. So with this one, there's a lot to change, right? So one, like I said, it's mentioned specific data science projects, right? The second thing is start with, you know, so highlight some of the data science projects. That's one thing. And the second thing is, like we mentioned, how did that help the company in terms of time, in terms of how much money the company saved, and so on and so forth. Then you can mention about if it was a collaborative project between across multiple teams, you can mention about that. And then you can also mention about whether whatever project you worked on, was it deployed, so on and so forth. You can also mention that you worked with, let's say, a software developer team or ML ops team in the deployment process, and so on and so forth. So this really needs to be more than So I think these two definitely need to go away. It's not relevant at all.
Yeah, I think
Um,
these points
Definitely
can
to be
apply
phased away.
to the other three projects as well. We can move on to the next resume.
Yeah,
Otherwise, we won't be able to cover everything, right?
sure.
Next
Yeah,
is Anurag.
yeah. Projects, yeah, personal projects. So you can mention this, modify these things, and don't throw big words. So just let me finish in 10 seconds. So don't throw big words. Explain the problem statement. What is it that you're trying to do? And then show what did you achieve. Okay, that'll be the main
Yeah,
thing. Don't just talk about you use machine learning, you did this, and so on and so forth, right? Who's the next person?
Anurag, first one.
First one. Okay, so I hope that was helpful. You can mention in the comment section if that was helpful, and yeah, you can make the changes. um, okay, so Anurag. Okay, few things.
Mhm.
um, does photos and stuff like
Yeah.
not relevant, right? Yeah, because like your resume is scanned by the because now companies use
So,
you know
Anurag
systems, right,
has
to scan your
uh,
resumes.
Anurag has uh, in the form he has mentioned that this isn't his primary resume, but this is the college template. So he has to use this only.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay, 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 okay. That's fine. So we'll just give you a few hints and tips then on your resume. So the first thing is photos. So again, the thing is run by the system, right? So system doesn't care about your photos and this and all of that. So you can actually remove them and utilize that extra space for other things, right? So the main thing is because we try and constrain the resume to one page, how much space you can reserve for relevant things is very important. So that's one thing. The second thing, oh well, this is good. Name is good. Your email is good. Uh, Number is good. You can mention your LinkedIn profile, which you have it here. Maybe you can move it at the top here, or make a section here where all of these information is in one place and not spread across. GitHub, LinkedIn, email, phone number, four relevant things, right? uh, Address not needed,
I
right?
think he does not
No
have
one really
a
cares.
freedom in moving things around. I think what they do is they just make you fill in everything on a portal, and it automatically generates this. I think
Oh,
that's
I
the
see.
case.
Okay,
Yeah. So let's just go through the projects. Then.
okay, let me go through the
Yeah.
projects in that case then. So what do we have? Okay, projects. Okay, e-commerce application for selling and buying products to make purchases of the products effective and generate reports on the basis of the sales. Okay, but what is it that you did?
So,
I
so,
mean, this is telling me more about. Mhm.
so this is like he
Yeah.
is working currently, or is he a student? He must be a student, right?
Okay, let me look at your profile. So you have an internship. You don't have your education section anywhere. I don't see that anywhere. Oh,
Just go to the
so
LinkedIn.
academic
LinkedIn.
history. You have done diploma. Okay, I'm gonna look at your profile. Let me go real quick. Okay, so you're a student.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, he's a student as of now. So we're graduating in 2024. Okay. So yeah, I think the resume is outdated. You don't have that education section here anywhere.
Yeah, the BTech section is not. Oh,
Yeah. So I guess based on whatever you provided, we will only be able to give you some feedback. Won't be able to give you detail because it looks like your resume is outdated. Um, so for this project here, yeah, I don't know what this one is basically telling me what is the e-commerce application about, but not really telling me what is it that you are doing and so on, right? So tell
Yeah.
me what you are doing, right? What is the problem you're trying to solve, and how are you utilizing data science or AI to solve that problem, right?
Right. So being
And if it's a
specific,
team size,
yeah,
so
being
mhm,
specific about your own contributions. So I think that's really important. And again,
yeah,
like we mentioned in the earlier resume, mentioning the numbers, mentioning the situation, task, approach, and results. So I think
yeah,
that will be good.
yeah, yeah. Likewise for all the other ones, mention the problem statement, and then at the end, just mention what are the skills that you have gained or been applying
hmm.
for that specific
And the
problem.
tools which you have used, I think tools are
Yeah,
also missing. Algorithms
yeah,
are also missing. And
yeah. I
these
think this
lines are
is
like crossing the, like if you see the internship,
yeah, yeah.
it's
Okay,
not
I guess
properly.
you can provide us your better resume next time, and then we can give you a detailed overview. With this one, I think there's not much to provide information. Uh, yeah, hopefully that's okay with you.
Yeah. So
Okay, do
let's
we have
move on to
anyone
the next
else?
one.
Okay, who's the
Next
next one?
one we can take Harshit. Second one. Second.
Harshit. Okay, okay. Let's look at your resume. So, picture again, not needed. Um, let's start with this site first. I think that'll be okay. So you have your profile, educational qualification. You can put it at the end, just like we mentioned. You have courses, you have certifications. You can actually, oh, you don't need these many to be honest. You can just mention courses, and you can just provide the actual boot camps or something that we have taken, right? All of these things not needed. What is data science, tools for data science, methodology, pick the relevant ones, right? So IBM data science professional code, this is good. Maybe you can mention machine learning with Python. That'll be a good one. Um, you don't need to mention all of. I think this is part of IBM on Coursera. So yeah, you don't have to mention all of these.
Mm.
Just saying this is good enough, right? Uh, and then you don't really need this. I mean, all of that you don't need it.
Where
This
are
is
the
more like
projects? Are there no projects?
there are no projects, nothing, no.
Is this certificates?
Yeah, no. Sorry.
What is this certificates?
So, so on Coursera, so IBM has this data science program which consists of I think 10 to 12 courses.
Okay, okay, okay. Like it's
So
in
you go
part.
through each courses, and this is actually a part of that. Uh, so it's part of this program basically on Coursera. So yeah, you don't need all of that. So yeah, you have a lot of things missing. Again, this thing, nope, you don't need that. That's yeah, you don't need all of that.
Yeah, so I
So
think
you have projects
Harshit, so
missing.
you should do some projects in data science if you are looking to get into data science, and
Yeah,
write those. That should be the first priority for you.
yeah. So should do that now. So this one, we'll give you a quick overview of this side as well. So application for data scientist. I'm not sure what is application for data scientist title is, right? So and then this one here, you don't need that details of your address. Just you need your phone number, your email, your LinkedIn, and have this LinkedIn as a clickable link on, I mean, the profile name, not just a clickable link, right? So you can copy your name and then the whole link and then put it here. Nationality, no, this is not relevant. So nationality is not relevant. Date of birth, not relevant. Key skills, you have C, C++, HTML, Python. You can condense some of the things, right? So you can mention C or C++. I think one of them is good enough. Python is good. Then it's MySQL or PostgreSQL. You can mention either of those. HTML is fine. That nope, that's not a skill. I wouldn't consider that as a skill. Scientific computing libraries, nope, don't need that. This don't need that. Machine learning, sure, you can have machine learning. This all, you don't need that. So these all key names, it's good on it looks good on LinkedIn, okay, where you have the skill sections. You can put it there if you like, right? But then you're gonna run out of it only allows you limited number of skills
He's
to add.
also a student, right?
So
He's a student, right?
so I'm guessing you are as so he 2022.
Not a student.
So I think he graduated last year. Yeah. Other skills, instead you can say, soft skills, and soft skills you can show communication skills, time management, team leadership, so on and so forth. You can mention that in here. So I think this resume, it's not finished. So you still need to work on that. And then here to establish a career in a reputable company where I can explore and improve IT related knowledge. So again, this is, I don't know what you're looking for. Do you want to go into data science? What is it that you want to go into? Right?
So on the left side
Not
below the name, he
clear.
has written application for data scientist.
Yeah, yeah. I think I mentioned that.
Mm.
So yeah, instead of saying like, hey, this is an application for data scientist, no, this is your resume, right? So you just need to have your title. What are you, right? You don't have to say that, hey, you know what, this is the application for data scientist. Okay, I now see what you meant by application or data scientist. But yeah, so a lot of changes to do. Um, First thing, work on the projects. That's the
And
most
I think
important
that
thing.
application for data science should be the subject of the email which you should
Yeah,
send to the
exactly.
HR, not,
Yeah, yeah,
not the part of the rest.
yeah, yeah.
All right, so let's move
Okay,
on to the next
so
one.
who's next one?
Yeah, Gaurav.
Go. Okay, okay.
Yeah,
Go.
this looks
Let's
really
look at
neat.
your resume. This looks neat. Yeah, definitely. So your objective, education again, you can put it at the end, or you're still expected to graduate. Yeah, that's fine. And then you have skills. Yeah, this is what I was talking about. This is how you can do it,
Yeah.
right? So you can put your skills in this fashion. This is good. Okay, let's start with the objective. So data, let's start here actually. So you have your email, that's good. You have LinkedIn profile, that's good. Your GitHub, good. How active are you on GitHub? Not very active. So make sure you're active on GitHub if you're gonna share with the recruiters. Right. So data scientist with 2+ months of experience with NLP, computer vision, machine learning, deep learning. So I'm guessing you have done all the projects, seeking data scientists, data analysts, intern roles. Okay, cool. Since this is just you're still in the school, I think this is good enough. Education section is good. Okay, technical skills, Python, C, C++, SQL, NoSQL. With the SQL, do you know MySQL, PostgreSQL? You can mention that. Machine learning, deep learning, NLP, computer vision. So do you have a reason why you wrote computer vision and deep learning? Uh, because what happens is, so, we have this traditional, uh, approaches in computer vision, and then we now have deep learning. So some people who are very technical, they would consider either of this as you knowing the traditional algorithms which were being used before deep learning era. So make sure you understand those things before you use any of those keywords. Because I know I was doing interviews, and I didn't know that that was a scenario, right? If you mentioned this computer vision, people would consider the traditional approach. Will ask you a question on traditional approaches as well.
Yeah.
So make sure you do a bit of research and then pick either of those keywords. Soft skills, team player, good communication skills,
So one thing I can
confident.
notice is the skills, the tools and libraries, the right margin is not being respected here, right? It is going till the end. So maybe what you can do is you can reduce the space between like the tools and libraries and NumPy.
Yeah. And this one, I would say, look up few soft skills, uh, and then basically change the wordings here to make it look more professional.
Hmm.
So you can look up for soft skills and you know what to put in here. So,
Yeah, and also
and
I don't think
then
this soft skills line is really needed because that no one will like read it from a resume and then believe you, right? You have to show it in the
Yeah.
interview. So this line is not really needed.
yeah, yeah. I mean, sometimes it's good to have, like I would say, sometimes it's good to have like people at least can see, if your leadership skills and so on and so forth. But yeah, um,
Uh, so one
depends
more
on the
thing, like,
recruiters, I guess. Hmm.
yeah, the way I love to write this skills part is like firstly with the programming language, secondly with the databases. So with the
Ordering, okay.
programming language, yeah, I will go with the Python, C, and C++. With databases, I go with SQL, MySQL, and all this. So
Hmm.
that thing, I think
Yeah,
it's better, and the libraries you go for.
yeah, yeah.
So
So you can
this is a
split
little
this
bit.
up. Yeah. So yeah. So Sushant, you can split this technical skills up into programming, database, right? And then you have tools and libraries. So you can have mentioned those
And
things
then also we can
here.
serve further. I know version control, and if you know multiple version control, you can add GitLab and GitHub, all three.
Yeah.
Similar to that.
Yep. So hopefully that was good enough for the skills section. And now for the experience, let's see what do you have. So you are a data scientist intern at this company, achieved growth for the company using machine learning, NLP, and computer vision skills. So when you say achieved growth, like in what, right? Like
Yeah,
what
we,
kind of
we need
project
we
was
need the
it?
number, right? We need the number.
Yeah, and also by how much, right? So I mean, achieve growth for the company. I mean, were you part of every single thing that the company does, right? Or was it specific domain? Or like is it a solar secure solutions? I'm not sure what that company is, but so be specific on what kind of project it was, and if you achieve growth, if you helped company achieve something, what did you help achieve them, and by how much? That is important,
Yeah.
right?
So
So worked on number. Mhm.
uh, when I did my first internship, uh, I worked on the traveling salesman problem uh, on route optimization. So there, I was also confused, like what number can I mention there, right, uh, to show the result that I achieved. So what I ended up doing was I did route optimization, right? So I knew that uh, what was the distance reduction that uh, the route has achieved. So I reduced for Mumbai, I reduced like 25% distance traveled for the people. So that way you could come up with a number like what in money terms also you could come up with a number like how much money did you save the company.
Yep. Mhm. So yeah, numbers are valuable. So put in some numbers. Worked on number plate detection using OpenCV. And again, in Python, you're gonna come across tons of libraries. You don't have to mention every single library. Mention the big one, right? Like for example, if it's TensorFlow, so OpenCV is pretty well known. So OpenCV is good. You don't need to mention this CV2. That's not relevant, right? So OpenCV is good enough. So remember, the person who's reading your resume for the first time around, it's HR, right? So HR is not going to understanding technicality, what is CV2, what is so on and so forth. Now, the second person who reads your resume could be, the manager of data science team, right? Now, that person might have some technicality knowledge, right? But then that person can ask you questions when you go to interview. So you use OpenCV, right? And then I can ask you, okay, OpenCV, I can ask some questions based on that library. So you don't have to mention that here in the resume, so right? Even this one here, you don't need it, right? So worked on number plate detection. Um, and you can also mention if it had some business use case, how relevant it was for the business, right? So why is that important to the company, right? So you can mention some business use cases for that, and
And
then
accuracy is
develop
important.
resume. Yeah,
And
you
like
can mention, yeah. Hmm.
accuracies and all, that is also required.
Yeah,
Like if you have not, it is not deployed in the, it not went to the production, then at least like machine learning metrics will be useful. If it is deployed and if it is in production, then business metrics will be better.
yeah. Then if the company already had something like this in place, and let's say you worked on a solution which improved the result by X percentage, that is relevant, right? So you can say improved, the number plate detection system of the company by X percentage. That's relevant, right? So you can mention that. So this in turn, helped company achieved X amount of growth. That's a good kind of sentence. You can phrase those sentences, right? Develop resume screening algorithm. So you developed resume screening algorithm. That's good. So you can scan your resume. But that search for several keywords related to. So when you say developed resume screening algorithm, do you mean did you come up with a new type of algorithm, or do you mean you implemented resume screening algorithm, right? So this word here, people sometimes interchange developed and implemented. So you have to be, I think some people who are technical, like if I'm, like me, like if I'm interviewing, I would ask these questions. Did you actually develop a new algorithm or did you implement the algorithm that exists, right? So yeah, just careful on that when it comes to interviews. So related to job description and train the model using KNN and IB base. Again, you can mention some numbers here that would be relevant. And then this here, you can move it on a new section, libraries used, and you can mention these things there. Okay,
Yeah.
I think our call is gonna end in 10 minutes. Do
Yeah,
you guys wanna send
let's
me
move on to the
another?
next one. So I think this is enough for this one. Uh, the same.
Yeah,
tips can be
this is
implemented for the other projects
good
as well.
enough.
Next is Vijay.
I
Yeah,
think I
Vijay.
think it's better like if someone is live, then we should go for it. Otherwise, we
Yeah,
should give
Vijay
general.
is live. Yeah, Vijay is live.
Oh,
Vijay is live. Okay, okay. Can one of you send me another link so that we can jump on that link
Yeah.
quickly when this
Sushant, can you
dies
share?
out? So
okay,
Vijay,
okay, okay.
Vijay, this person?
Yeah.
I cannot read the chat. Too many people here. Okay, cool. So where do you go? Here. Okay, so you have a two-page resume. Let's see. So what do you have? You have email. That's good. How active are you on LinkedIn? That's good. I like that. So you have the key KPIs here. So you have 95% commit rate, 1% code review, pull request 6% issue. Yeah, you should start getting some issues. We won't go into detail. We probably will make a session on that, how to do that. Okay, that's good. Skills. So language, is language relevant there?
No.
No, okay. So you can remove the language, not really relevant. Technical data skills, statistics, hypothesis testing. No, okay. So you can remove some of the words here. So statistics, hypothesis testing, data pre-processing, data visualization. I mean, some of the things they all, you know, you can imagine this, right? So you're doing let's say you're doing mechanical engineering, right? And in mechanical engineering, you're not going to mention every single skill set that you learn from every single courses, right? It all falls under one category, which is, mechanical engineering. All the subjects that you learn, they correspond to mechanical engineering. So something similar you can think of it here, right? So hypothesis testing, all of that falls in the statistics. So you don't have to mention an additional thing, right? Even for data science, if you're mentioning here data science, there's pre-processing, feature engineering, all of those things, they all fall under this bracket of data science, right? So you don't have to say, if you use too many words here, then it's like A, you're using a lot of your resume space, and then B, it's not relevant. So you can get rid of some of them here. Technical data languages and tools. Instead of calling data languages, you can say maybe technical programming languages and tools.
Yeah.
So your Python or Julia. So Julia is good. I don't know how much you know Julia. Um, yeah, if you're only know the basics like Hello World, I wouldn't say to put it there. Um, Java, then MATLAB, or a lot of languages. But make sure you actually know them, right? Because when you do go for interviews, they will ask you questions.
Yeah.
Like for example, Julia, right? So why does Julia run faster? What's making it run faster than even Python? And people are going to ask you such questions. And can you do data science in Julia? If yes, tell me some libraries and stuff that's well known in Julia, right? People are going to ask you questions. So make sure you know whatever you mention. MySQL, Google Cloud ML. So instead of that, I would put uh, like GCP or Google Cloud Platform.
Mm.
This, I'm not entirely sure what BQML is. And then Vertex AI, what's BQML? BigQuery machine learning. Okay, so you can, yeah, people usually call BQ. I mean, it's so BigQuery machine learning. I mean, two separate. Uh, so you have BigQuery in GCP, and you also have the machine learning aspect. So I'm guessing BQQL is basically a combination of those two. Uh, but again, that falls under GCP, right? So if you type GCP, if you just mention GCP, that's good enough, right? Vertex AI, I'm not sure of that either. So Vertex AI looks like, yeah, okay. So it's one of those GCP products, I'm guessing. So again, you can mention that on the GCP.
What actually is yeah, it's a Google product.
Yeah, so you can mention the GCP. Data Studio is also a Google product, so you can mention the GCP. So some of the things you can shorten it. Maybe have another section for cloud platforms, and you can mention GCP, AWS. Even with AWS, right? AWS has over 200 services, so you don't need to mention every single one of them. You can just say AWS.
No, no,
So
Vertex
leadership,
AI
communication.
is different. Basically, they provide.
So it's a different platform, or
Are
what
you
is
able
it?
to hear me? Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a like uh, so like it's good to mention in resume. Like if you know Vertex AI, I think so.
Okay. So is it not part of GCP then?
Uh,
Does it not fall under GCP services? Because this should all fall under GCP services.
uh, like GCP is a, it's like if you know it, it all fall under GCP, but like it in
Hmm.
resume it's better like because you don't know all the AWS, no,
Yeah.
like there are some parts of AWS you know, so it's
Yeah.
better to
Yeah,
specify.
mhm. But what I meant by that is, let's say if you know
Can we
20
shift
services of
to
AWS,
another
right?
call? It's going to end in 3 minutes.
Okay, yeah, let me shift to
Yeah,
another call.
I'm sending.
Were you able to
I'm not
create
able
it
to send it.
or no? Okay, let me just do it
I'm
quickly.
able to create it. I'm just sending you the mail.
Here, I've done it, so you guys can get it. I've done it. There you go. Let's meet there.
My system.
Okay. Uh, okay, let me share my screen. Okay, I think Shushan will wait for him. So let me go other things. So soft skills, leadership, communication, decision making. Okay, good to have those keywords. Education. So you can move, just like we've been mentioning. You can either move it at the bottom or you can leave it there. Since you're still pursuing, you can leave it there.
So the spelling of
Uh,
pursuing is also.
yeah, yeah. So I'm not highlighting spelling,
Yeah.
so Ashit can look after spellings. So yeah, make sure you have proper. Make sure you have everything nicely written and there's no typos. Typos are usually not good. So data science internship. So you worked at this company in Pune, Maharashtra, India. Okay, July 2020 to present. That's good. So design and developed 15 plus hand curated data science projects. Cutting time to hire by 60%, resulting in improved product accuracy and efficiency. So were you developing projects for the company? So I'm guessing this company, what is this company? Okay, so the company is basically for skill assessment. So it says skill intelligence and assessment platform. Okay, so you were designing data science projects for the company, cutting the time. Okay, that's good. You've mentioned how much time it cuts for the hiring process, resulting in improved project accuracy and efficiency. So you can mention by how much did you improve the metric. So you can mention that. developed
Whenever
hundred
someone
plus,
writes
thousand plus.
this like 15 plus projects, 1,000 plus test cases, so this really looks shady
Mhm.
to me every time. It's better to mention like one or two things that you actually did instead of mentioning
Mhm.
this big number, right?
Yeah. And also, if you contributed to 15 plus, like I don't think you contributed to, I mean, did you have enough
Everyone.
time to
Yeah.
contribute to this many, right? And were you the only person doing it, right? And
Hmm.
if you did, then they're gonna ask you, okay, what kind of projects? Tell me in detail what kind of projects were you designing, right? So on and so forth. So, and also, if it's your first time doing some data science internship, then that kind of number, you know, looks too high, like looks too shady, right? So
Yeah.
also, if you have done 1,000 plus comprehensive test cases, if you have developed them, then you are some kind of expert in data science. That's what it tells me, right? So yeah, so just be careful when you go to interviews, because if you're the one designing it, then you should be the one who should be passing, most of the exams and so on online as well. So okay, so resulting in low rate of errors and bugs. Okay, utilize data visualization technique and statistic analysis. Again, don't need to mention it. You have already mentioned that at the top, the tools that you know. So you can just say, okay, we are Shashank. So we will get back to that topic of Vertex AI. I'm just going through this section here. So here you can instead mention, you have developed dashboards
Yeah.
to help your end users, stakeholders, um, and using that dashboard, the stakeholders basically were able to make relevant decisions and so on, right?
Yeah,
So
it will be better if he specifies which what dashboard he has made. Like, let's say he has
exactly,
created a PNL or a retention dashboard or something that's and how the business team is using it, or the tech team is using it, or someone who
yeah,
is.
and then accelerated the predictive power of the company's hiring model by
Yeah.
15% by quality checking 400 plus. So I think this and this here looks kind of similar to me. So here you're developing data science projects, cutting down time to hire, right? Now here you're saying hiring models. So this kind of looks on the same topic. Um, so you can either, combine them together somehow, right?
Also, this
Collaborative cross-functional teams is good.
green color looks really weird to me. Uh, this isn't also eye catchy. So the green is really unnecessary.
So you can do bold instead. And also for
Yeah.
people, when they print out their resumes, you don't expect them to have color, what do you
Yes.
call, cartridge. Um, so so have it as bold instead, and you can underline and have it bold,
Mm.
right? So that's good enough. So yeah, so in the topic of Vertex AI, what I meant by that is, let's say AWS has 200 services, right? If you know 10, 20 different services, you're not going to mention 20 different services, right? So you're just gonna mention like, okay, I know.
No,
I mean, there's no one who knows 200
he has
services.
not mentioned
So,
like once you go for the Google Cloud ML, that's a different platform. BQML is a different platform. Vertex AI is different, and they have different use. Like if he has mentioned something, like let's say you are doing auto ML, so for that auto ML you use Vertex AI, similar to that.
okay, okay, got it. So okay, then I guess this would be relevant, so you can keep it, I guess. And what else? So we have technical projects. So technical projects, I won't go into that because this is like a side project. Um,
Yeah, and also
what else do you have?
a two-page resume is not really recommended in general.
Yeah,
There's
so
a lot of
it gets very in
blank
detail.
space, like between the
Mhm,
line spacing is too much. You can reduce that and maybe cut down some
mhm.
points. to make it a single page.
Yeah. And also here, you don't need to mention like so technical projects, because it's a side project, you can, you know, either you can put it as a single thing here at the top. So this and this, because some of the things, they're repeated, right? Like Jupyter Notebook, Python, NumPy, scikit-learn. So you can cut down that. Same here, right? So things are repeated, so you can save some lines. But yeah, this is good. You're mentioning, some numbers showing that how
Yeah,
much you improve the results by, and so on and so forth. Awards and achievement. Yeah, so I think this one you can showcase your achievements and so on. This is good.
Yeah, so one thing which is missing, like before solving any project, there should be some statement about what exactly the business problem we are trying to solve. Like second-hand
Yeah,
car predictions, like how it is going to help. Like even if you are not going to do that, like car will be sold second-hand, but like how you are going to help it. And
yeah. Like for example, here, right? You are saying, okay, this the business use case here is to predict customer buyback rate,
hmm,
right? So that's more like a business use case. So you can highlight, right?
yeah,
So it tells me like, okay, this is the business use case, right? So something like this you can highlight. Like here, you don't have anything mentioned here, or customers with similar interests, but so on, right? I mean, that's what PC and all of that is used. But what is the business use case? You haven't mentioned.
yeah, just like
Here, you
customer
have done it.
personality analysis. What
Yeah,
exactly is personality? What you are trying to achieve from this project?
exactly. So organization. So this one here, you can try and shrink it down as well, so you can save some more space. Um, okay, I see. So you have Google Cloud and Machine Learning Engineer certificate. Okay, so that's where this comes from. Okay, cool. Good to know. And yeah, I think that's good enough
And there
for this
should be some
resume.
spaces like if you go down, like this personal certificate start just after, like
Yeah,
the
here.
a little space will be
Space in
better.
between sections.
Yeah,
Yeah, space in between sections. Uh, that's another thing. Yeah, I think other than that, looks good enough. Hopefully that was useful, and
and
let us
yeah,
I
know if
think
that
like
was.
the font of heading and the text is also same. Like let's say you can reduce some size. Like if you go for the heading and before below that, these all the sizes are same. So you may
Mhm.
use a little 1 or 2 points smaller size, so it will be like more space saving also.
See, so one thing I want to mention, right? So all of these things, right? Like fonts and all those things. If you are doing this in like creating this manually, you're gonna have this issue, right? So I would recommend go use some plat tools. They do it everything automatically for you, right? So
yeah.
go use either flowcv.io, flowcv.com, or so I make my resume here, or you can go check out this another one recommended.
You can even
Go
go to
check out
Google
there.
Docs. Google Docs also has
Yeah,
templates.
yeah. So, if you go there, they already have the templates and you can just use it. So you don't have to worry about manually, changing fonts, and so on and so forth, right? So, yeah, do check those out.
So maybe what we
Okay,
can do
so do
is,
we
so
have,
Mithul, you can go to my profile and open my resume. We can like compare that with these resumes as well.
okay, let me check that. Oh, wait, what email am I on? This time, okay. So is it in Google Drive?
No, on my LinkedIn profile.
On your LinkedIn, okay. I need to open another tab. What's your Can you guys see? Um,
No,
LinkedIn?
no.
You cannot see.
You have to share that window.
Yeah, yeah. I'm trying to put it into a single window, but yeah, no good. Okay, let me share that screen. Yeah, I've been having issues with my laptop for some reason. I cannot share the entire thing anymore.
Yeah, if we can go
Okay, so
down,
that's Ashit's profile. You can go
yeah,
hack
you
it.
can see the resume. Yeah,
Okay, so this is the resume. Okay, so that's Ashit's resume. We're gonna evaluate Ashit's resume. So yeah, so that's his resume. You can go check it out. And then
you can zoom
yeah,
in.
so he's got some skills at the bottom, and then oh, too much. Okay, so yeah, so he's got the work experience at the top here, and keywords that we've been talking about. He's mentioned there some of the projects he has highlighted into different sections. So there's video analytics one he worked on, liveness detection, business forecasts, and so on, right? Internships. So he has, just 2 lines, kind of summarizes everything that he has done. Um, and then, yeah, so someone did mention this, I think a couple of days ago, I came across. Someone mentioned that you don't need to mention the months
Yeah.
uh, for your internships and so on. And they
Mm.
did an experiment and they saw that, the job interview calls increased when they removed from the resume that. And also the second thing was the country that you worked in, right? So,
Mm.
well, this was in Canada, so I'm not sure about that, but yeah, so it kind of improved the number of calls that the person got. So, and yeah, I see that in your resume actually. So yeah, that's something if you like to do that. Then there's independent projects, like just like other people have been doing it, right? So you can mention it here. Um, yeah, I think that's it. So you can look at the resume, look at his profile, look at his resume. Uh, Sushant, do you have your resume?
I don't think so.
You don't have it? Okay. Mine probably outdated. I haven't updated because I'm not applying for jobs. But do I have my resume here? I don't even know. Yeah, I don't think I have my resume. I don't add anymore. Yeah. Yeah, we'll do another session on how do you make your LinkedIn profile stand out,
Yeah.
right? So we'll do a session on that. Um, okay, let's get back. Do we have any more people?
No,
No,
yeah,
I think that's it.
Okay, and do people have questions or anything that they would like to ask, or
no,
I
Yeah,
think
nothing.
if
we're done
anyone has
for
any
today?
questions, whoever is online, please put it in the chat. We can answer that.
Okay. I think we can wrap up.
Let's
Yeah, I
wait a
think we don't
minute,
have many
then
people.
let's done.
So yeah, if people have any questions related to data science or um, in general, like if you want to ask about industry or something, feel free to ask.
So we can do a session on LinkedIn profiles, and we can. Uh,
So I am also very bad LinkedIn profile, so I will also learn a lot from it.
Yeah, I
Maybe,
mean, yeah, we'll do a session on that. I think
yeah.
it's
I
important
will be
to
the
do a
viewer
session on that.
in that session.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, no, like mine, I always update as I learn because I'm a learner too, right? So I always update as I learn more and more from people. Like my latest is actually, and then I stop updating at some point because I don't apply for jobs. Uh, but this is my latest one actually. Uh, so I have some section about me, Basically, as a data scientist, many years of experience. I provide end-to-end solutions. Uh, so also targeting like freelancing. So this is our updated mine. This one I had it from before. I left it as it is. And then so this is all basically when I was trying to get into data science. I have it since then. I never removed them. Some of the things that I think I updated was jobs and responsibilities. And then I've added this section. I never had that before, and I saw that it's relevant, so I've added that section. Open source libraries, mentioned that,
So how
highlighted
did you
so that
add
people
this
can see
Deca vision here? How did you add that?
this one here.
Yeah.
So what you can do is, let me go there, right? So you can have
Okay. Add
media.
media.
You can go to
Okay,
media,
media.
and then you can there. Yeah. So that's where you do it. So it's an open source library. So if you're working on open source library, always show it so people can see that you have been working on open source libraries. And some of the things, it's really good to highlight, like here, I've experienced with DevOps because I've been using DevOps. So Docker, Kubernetes, CI/CD tools like Jenkins and GitHub. And Agile is the main one, right? People prefer you working iteration. So Agile is something really important. So that, and because, stakeholders, you have to definitely show that, okay, you're launching, deploying things. So launch automated dashboards and market. So, we actually market it to store leaders and take their feedback and then improve. Because at the end of the day, like every time I mention, right, any data science project you work on, think of it as a product which you are deploying to your end user, take that feedback, improve the product, right? So that's something really important. Um, and yeah, similarly, I think I've done similar things with the other as well. Uh, Research papers, yeah, people have published papers. Like for this job, I published, I think, 4 or 5 papers. Actually, 3 or 4 papers. So mention that, even though I'm not from healthcare industry. I think I've taken that out anymore. I don't have that anymore here, but something relevant. Um, yeah. And then now in the skill section, this is something valuable I learned, I think last month. Right here in the skill section, you are allowed to put, I think there's a limit. The limit is 50. So you can have 50 is the max that you can put in. So whatever you put in, they have to be well. So, when you put automatically here, they show up in your jobs automatically, right? I didn't know that
Yeah.
before, right? So I
Yeah.
changed it, right? Now you can
Yeah. So
see here, you
it
see
is a
decathlon,
recent
right?
feature actually. Earlier it wasn't there.
Yeah, so I actually removed a lot of skill sets that were irrelevant and
Yeah.
I added the ones that's relevant. I still have tons of them which are irrelevant, but I just kept it. But the ones that I've been, that's relevant for the companies that I've worked in, I've tried and I've added it, right? So they all nicely kind of show up here, right? So, I know R, I
Yeah.
know continuous, I know CI/CD, I know DevOps, I know GCP, ETL, AWS. So these kind of things, right? So team leadership here, for instance, I need to add that here too. I have it
Right.
here. Yeah, team leadership. So yeah, these are kind of valuable things for LinkedIn, but yeah, we can go over it. And
Yeah.
then highlight your licenses and certifications. So that kind of shows that you're continuously learning because it's a field where you need to continuously learn and upgrade yourself. So yeah, I think we'll do a session on that.
Yeah.
We're
So
gonna
I think
review
let's
each
wrap
other's
up
profile.
this stream. I'll end the stream. Yeah. Thanks
Did you
everyone.
stop the recording already, or is it still?
No, no, not already. Yeah. I'm going to do that now.
Okay, so you can, yeah, suddenly you can stop the recording. Thank you for people who joined, and yeah, we'll do a session soon.